But I wanted to give you a little historical analysis and also some of the advantages of what we have here at C-SPAN, which is now on our new website, which is a chance to watch some of this great history. So this is from July 1980 with Ted Kennedy.
Long after this convention, long after the signs come down and the crowd stop cheering and the band stop playing, may it be said of our campaign that we kept the faith. May it be said of our party in 1980 that we found our faith again. And may it be said of us both in dark passages and in bright days. In the words of Tennyson that my brothers quoted and loved, and that have special meaning for me now. I am a part of all that I have met. Too much is taken, much abides. That which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. For me, a few hours ago, this campaign came to an end. For all those whose cares have been our concern, the work goes on, the cause endures, the hope still lives, and the dream shall never die.
A speech, by the way, that was written by Bob Shrum, who worked for a number of Democratic presidential candidates from 1972 through 2004. Each one of them lost. But Bob Shrum's a good friend of mine, and it was a great speech in terms of speeches that are written. Senator Kennedy will be honored Monday night. There's the chance that he may surprise Denver and show up in person. He, of course, as you know, is recovering from cancer surgery. But there's a tribute, and I saw the film yesterday as I was walking through the Pepsi Center. The stage will be unveiled tomorrow, but it's a great video tribute to Ted Kennedy and his legacy to America. I'm going to have you move down because I want to show you the Clinton ad. One of the things that Hillary Clinton was able to do so effectively in the primary is to try to paint Barack Obama as a candidate who may not be ready for prime time. And I think we're seeing that with the John McCain campaign, and I want to take you back to one of the ads. She ran obviously an ineffective primary campaign, but she was effective in this one ad that once I show it to you, you'll all know what I'm talking about.
It's 3 a.m. and your children are safe and asleep. But there's a phone in the White House and it's ringing. Something's happening in the world. Your vote will decide who answers that call. Whether it's someone who already knows the world's leaders, knows the military, someone tested and ready to lead in a dangerous world. It's 3 a.m. and your children are safe and asleep. Who do you want answering the phone?
I'm Hillary Clinton and I approve this message.
And by the way, that ad almost never aired except for the former president, Bill Clinton, who made the decision because Hillary Clinton was on the fence whether to use it or not, and he said go for it. And it was an effective ad for the Clinton campaign. It did change the dynamics, and it is something that Senator Obama has been able to do so effectively. But I want to take you back to a defining moment for Barack Obama, because his campaign was fledgling, and when he was in Iowa last November, an event that was carried only on C-SPAN, he basically talked about why he wanted to be president. And so let me share with you what he said last fall.
Because I will never forget that the only reason that I'm standing here today is because somebody, somewhere, stood up for me when it was risky, stood up when it was hard, stood up when it wasn't popular. And because that somebody stood up, a few more stood up, and then a few thousand stood up, and then a few million stood up. And standing up with courage and clear purpose, they somehow managed to change the world. That's why I'm running Iowa. To give our children and grandchildren the same chances somebody gave me. That's why I'm running, Democrats. To keep the American dream alive for those who still hunger for opportunity, who still thirst for equality. That's why I'm asking you to stand with me. That's why I'm asking you to caucus for me. That's why I'm asking you to stop settling for what the cynics say we have to accept. In this election, in this moment, let us reach for what we know is possible. A nation healed, a world repaired, an America that believes again. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
And so we now have the youngest and the oldest nominee in the history of our country. We have, for the first time, back-to-back conventions. It's never happened before. The Democrats deciding to have their convention after the Olympics. The Republicans then saying, well, we have no choice but to move into September. So we will, of course, be here for the next week, and thrilled to be here in Denver, and then pack up on Friday, go to St. Paul, and on Labor Day Monday, the Republicans will kick off their convention. Senator Obama has the honor of giving his acceptance speech on August the 28th, which is the anniversary of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. And John McCain has the honor of giving his speech on opening night of NFL football. So we'll see how the ratings. The last thing I want to share with you is that when we do interviews, we like to have people talk. And we don't want to kind of get in the way. We want to have a conversation. You know, we're not kind of down their throat. You know, we want to ask pointed questions and direct questions, very much the way I think Rick Warren did the other day so effectively in Saddlebrook in California. But I did the interview, and I'd like to think that it was because of my tenacious reporting skills that I was able to sit down with the mother of Roberta McCain. The truth is that her phone number is in the Washington, D.C. phone book, and so I called it up, and she picked up the phone and said, honey, come on over. She is 96 years old, sharp as a tack. And I got to tell you a little story, and this is a public story. John McCain, I think, has alluded to it. She has a twin sister. So, of course, we immediately connected her when I told her about our twins and our family. Her twin sister is Rowena. So Rowena and Roberta McCain. Rowena lives in Orange County, California. She lives in Washington, D.C., 2100 Connecticut Avenue. And last year, for their 95th birthday, they decided to go to Paris, France. And so they got over their 3-month trip, and they're going to travel through Normandy and through Nice and through Paris and then up to Germany in the Black Forest. So they landed at Charles de Gaulle Airport, had the reservation, went to the Hertz International rental counter, and they said, "Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry, you're too old. You can't rent. We have a rule in Europe: if you're 90 or older, you can't rent a car." And she, without missing a beat, saying, "That's okay. Where can I buy one?" And she went on to buy a Peugeot that was in the garage when I did the interview. So I asked her some very simple questions about John McCain. It was always Johnny this, Johnny that, what it was like when he was a POW for 5.5 years. And I asked about one of the issues that was percolating, which is whether or not John McCain had a lot of support among the base of the party. And the McCain campaign, not too happy that I did the interview because I didn't notify them, but I figured if I notified them, I wouldn't have done the interview. So this is just one moment from Roberta McCain, and note the picture behind her, which is a younger version of 96-year-old Roberta McCain, who will be in St. Paul next week. Now, this is a political question in terms of how he gets the nomination. But just from what you have seen, how much support do you think he has among the base of the Republican Party?
And I don't think he has any. I don't know what the base of the Republican, maybe I don't know enough about it, but I've not seen any help whatsoever.
So can he then go on and become the nominee of this party?
Yes, I think Holder and Oz are going to have to take him.
Can you explain?
Well, everything they've done and said. Now, I'm really popping off, but he worked like a dog to get Bush reelected. He's backed Bush in everything except Rumsfeld. Have you ever heard of other senators and congressmen backing Bush over 8 years? Find me, give me a name. And I've never seen any public recognition of the work that he's done for the Republican Party.
God love her. You know, I was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner this year, and she was there with her granddaughter Megan, and at 1 in the morning, I mean, I'm ready to collapse, and she's in this party, and people are around her, and she's just loving it. So I tell you, John McCain needs to have her out more just to reinforce that age is not a factor. We only have a few minutes, so let me open it up to questions. I've done all the talking. So whoever has a question, if there are any, if not, you get out early. Yes, sir.